What's up, y'all? My name is Torrance, and you are locked into the Production Prism. And right now, we are going to talk with Jules and get to know a little bit about his story and to get into this creative industry. So tune in and enjoy. The purpose of these episodes, just so everybody can understand, is really inspiration, but also just to kind of get to know the folks that's in my circle, and just in as it starts to broaden out, it's just going to be just the creative circle in general. Mm-hmm. But first and foremost, I'm just going to have you introduce yourself. Just tell us who you are, what you do, man.
Oh, wow. For whatever reason, I wasn't expecting that.
I know. This is the first time I did it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But my name is Jules Coy, for anybody who doesn't know me. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. I reside here in Alexandria, Virginia at this current time. Have been blessed to work with Torrance and Noir Prism Studios. We actually met right here in my studio, LED Studios. At the time, I was literally, that was the first year that I was working in, media, film, whatever we want to call it. And I had the pleasure, I have a customer service background, so I had the pleasure of seeing a lot of people coming in and out of the studio. And my mindset was like, I know nothing, so I'm just here to make sure that the clients that are here at my studio are taken care of. And I mean, really, I'm giving the story of how we met, and I'll back up to, give more, I guess, information on who I am and like how I got here. But Torrance came here. I don't remember exactly which client it was. I don't believe it was
It might have been James.
It might have been James.
Yeah.
But I could just tell that you had like a knowledge that I wanted and I needed.
Yeah.
And I remember just asking you like, hey man, like if you ever need any help, like just let me know.
Yeah.
And I think we exchanged numbers or email or contact or whatever it might have been. And I think it was probably like 6 or 7 months later, you were like, hey, I got this project that we're shooting. We're gonna be, going to a park, shooting some cyclists.
Yeah.
Can you come like do some BTS? And I was just like, sure. I don't even remember. You might have just asked me to come. You might have said something about a budget. I don't know, but it didn't matter. I was just like, hey.
Knowing me, it was free, bro. or it was petty money because that was a passion project.
I was happy to do it.
Yeah.
Came out, man. Just, shot BTS.
Yeah.
And, he ended up really liking it. And then, honestly, he just, hasn't stopped calling me since. So I've been blessed to, travel a lot. Go see a lot of different things and experience a lot of different things by way of Torrance. So I just want to let the people know, like, I really appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks, brother.
Like for real, like, I'm not even here. Yes, I had the studio, before we had met and stuff like that. But I definitely don't think that I would have gained a lot of the skills and just experienced a lot of the things that I've experienced over the course of 3 years without you. So even, being able to sit down right now and have this conversation is an absolute blessing. And so I'm excited for, where it's going and where we're going to climb to, because it's only going to be up.
Yeah, for sure. Man, hey, thank you.
For sure.
Because that means a lot. Like, hearing that, I didn't start this company, this Noir Prism, to be like me, like, I wanna get rich. I wanna make cool projects. Like, the base of it was, how do I get other people to live this dream?
Yeah.
And like, since the day we met, like, I think you were back there, like, as a studio tech. I could tell, like, man, this cat hungry, bro.
Yeah.
Like, he really want to do this stuff. He works at the studio. And I just remember just like racking my brain trying to find a project to get you on, bro.
For sure.
And I didn't know your skill level, so I didn't want to like put you on something and drown you.
Yeah.
But then when the series came up, well, at the time it was a passion project. When that came up, I was like, man, let me get Jules on it. Let me see what Jules do.
Yeah.
And since then,
that's it. I came in and, like I said, I live on an extra mile, man. I was just like BTS. I remember Chris was like, bro, like, what's this dude doing? I'm like, and in my mind, I of course didn't see that, but to me, I'm just like, I'm here to capture every single moment.
Yeah.
And I remember I gave you the footage and you were like, man, like low-key told a story. And I was just so excited because I'm completely new. I don't even understand fully how to quote unquote tell a story. I'm just capturing what happened.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like I'm just so, you know, excited
Yeah.
to be there. So it's a blessing to, you know, I mean,
Yes.
look years in the future and just continue to see how we're able to move forward.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
So let's go back before before you got in the industry. Tell us a little bit about what you were doing before you started working as a freelancer.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. My parents moved to that. Well, I say us, me and my sisters. I'm the youngest of three. I have two older sisters, and my parents moved us down here from Brooklyn, New York in 2005. I was 12 years old. You know, was a normal suburban kid.
Yeah,
You know,
man.
grew up doing, I guess you could say suburban things,
Yeah.
just you know, regular stuff out in Virginia. So wasn't coming out here to, cause you know, right now we're in Alexandria. Wasn't really coming out here as far as like to DC or the DMV, the real DMV at
Yeah.
least. Um, was going to I went to the community college called Northern Virginia Community College.
Yeah.
I actually got in trouble when I was 20 years old. Had went away for a little bit.
Yeah.
Was able to bounce back from that around 24 years old, and essentially came home. Was just looking to move my life forward. So I started working. I was working at a restaurant. I was working at some other random place, and then I ended up seeing an ad to work at a car dealership.
Yeah.
And I wasn't like into sales or had ever done sales, but I was like, well, I think my choices were going to work at UPS or trying to work there. And I was like, UPS, they got free healthcare, but like, I don't think it's really fun.
I'm trying to slang these boxes, bruh.
Yeah, and like when I went to school, I had studied psychology because I've always been interested in people.
Yeah.
Like that's just always been like kind of like a fascination of mine, like how people think. So you know, studied psychology, didn't finish school, but like at UPS, I was like I said, it wasn't probably gonna be too fun on me driving around a truck, but with the car. With the dealership, I was gonna be able to like talk to people. Like I said, I'm not really into sales, but like, why not?
Yeah.
And I'm probably gonna make good money.
Mm-hmm.
So applied to the dealership. They literally called me that same day, and I became a car salesman.
Yeah.
They trained me. I ended up staying at being there for like a few months, but because I have a felony, you have to have a state license.
Yeah.
Because of my felony, they actually declined my license.
Yeah.
Even though I passed the class, and it was crazy.
What?
And there's other people that were in a similar predicament.
Yeah.
That the general manager, he was actually like blown because he was just like, you know, he could see my character and he was just so encouraging to me. His name was Greg Altman. I'll never forget him. But he was just very encouraging, and he was just like, what? Like, this is crazy. So when it got denied, I can't sell cars. So like I actually didn't even get paid for the cars that I sold because they couldn't pay me because it was probably like 2 months. And I mean, it was early. So I mean, it wasn't the worst thing in the world, but like they couldn't actually even pay me for the cars that I sold because my license got denied.
Yeah.
And so then he was just so distraught. But then I remember he brought the assistant, I guess the assistant general manager, and his name was Rob, and he was like, why don't we just put him in service? Mm-hmm. And he was just like, well, let me go, talk to the service manager. And then I was just like, look, like I'll do whatever job needs to be done. Like I just want to be here. So he went and talked to the service manager at the time. And they were like, we'll start you as a porter. So I was just driving around cars, driving people to and from where they need to go. And then they started training me as a service advisor for, I guess, a few months. And then I became an advisor. And honestly, that's where I learned everything about, customer service. And essentially ended up doing that for 6 years. When I left there, well, I guess not to get ahead of myself, I did that for 6 years, worked my way up. I became the service lane manager, and right before I decided to leave there, I was about to go into the office.
Yeah.
And make that good money, and I was really making good money because it's sales, a different type of sales. But I was about to go into that office. And for anybody who's not like familiar with what a service advisor does, but if you come into the lane, need a car, your oil change or anything like that, I was the one who would help you. And a big part of my money was attached to customer service. Yeah. So, like I said, you get really good at communicating with people. And I was really dead set on owning my own dealership one day.
Yeah.
So my grandfather is from the Caribbean. He literally at the bottom of our house, it's a variety store called Bossman and Sons.
Yeah.
And so, I hear all the stories about my grandfather and all the things that he did on that small island. Like literally, the island is 13 square miles.
Yeah.
So, he was able to do a lot. And my dad wasn't an entrepreneur, but some of my uncles were. I didn't necessarily know that like I wanted to have my own business in the way that like I want to be a quote unquote entrepreneur, but I did know I wanted to like be a leader and like own something, like do something that was bigger than just kind of like working 9 to 5. So the automotive group that I was a part of is called Pohanka Automotive Group. They were pretty inwardly promoting. And so they kind of already had like a blueprint and a roadmap because they were constantly buying new dealerships.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say strangely enough, but in the dealership world, you actually have a benefit by being a minority, because if you're getting a new, like a commercial dealership, they generally are trying to give it to somebody who is a minority, meaning Black, Asian.
Yeah.
So by being of color, I actually was in a better position, as I moved up the ranks to own my own dealership or be a partner, with Pohanka Automotive Group. And so that was really like the lane that I saw myself going. And as far as I was concerned, that's what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And then my brother-in-law, Leroy, came into my sister's life. He wasn't my brother-in-law then, but a gentleman named Leroy. He met my sister. They started dating. And he's an accountant, and he worked for Deloitte. Yeah. Anybody who knows Deloitte, that's a pretty big company.
3.
Yeah. He was making good money. He's African. Was exceptional dude from day one.
Or Big 4.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. Big 3, Big 4. Yeah.
Exceptional dude from day one. But he was Miss USA's photographer. And her Deshauna Barber, if anybody's familiar.
Yeah.
But he was her photographer, so he came up with her. And I just remember hearing about him for the first time. I was laying on the couch, had just came home from work. My sister's talking to my other sister, telling me about this guy. And I'm the youngest, so like, I'm not like, oh, big bro. I'm just kind of like, okay.
Like, whatever.
Yeah, like, okay. And she was just telling my other sister, and I'm just listening about this guy. And, he has a studio. He does photography. And, I'm a Blockbuster kid.
Yeah.
So grew up going every Friday to Blockbuster, getting movies, getting Chinese food with my mom and sisters. We just, watch movies. That was the thing. Yeah. So I think in the back of my mind, I always wanted to like make movies. And even when I was a kid, we had like, little camcorders and like these random little camera things.
Yeah.
And me and my cousins used to make movies, like home movies. But that was like fun. But I never was like, oh, I'm going to go to school for it, or I'm going to like, take time to like do X, Y, Z. YouTube was already a thing, by this time. But I never was like, oh, I'm going to do YouTube or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I think in the back of my mind, I always like wanted to make movies. I just didn't know how.
Yeah.
So when he heard about him and he came around, I was just kind of like, this is interesting, because now he's the first person that I had ever met that was not only, taking pictures and doing things, but he was like making money doing it, and he's working with Miss USA. Yeah. I'm not in the pageant world, but I'm like, hey, I know Miss USA. You know what I mean? Like that
ain't bad.
That's a pretty big deal from what I understand. And now this guy's my brother. You know what I mean? Like, well, I guess at that current moment he wasn't, but he was very active in my sister's life.
Yeah.
So therefore he was around me as well, because we all lived in the house still. So I just kind of was like, well, I want to, continue to be around him. I'm making good money over here, but like, let me just keep going. And he had a studio in 52 O Street, DC. Yeah. And then he ended up getting this studio today, actually. Well, the studio that we're in today.
Yeah.
It's called LED Studios because it actually represents Leroy, Elliott, and DJ. So he had 2 other partners that had started with him. And they decided to leave in, it was like 2022.
Yeah.
In 2021, I was kind of like, I was here, but I would just like visit, like come see what they had going on. And it was just like so fascinating to me because I didn't know anything about it, like this realm. But in 2022, when those guys left, it was like early. And he was like, yeah, like they're leaving, they're gonna get paid out, and like I'm not sure that he asked me. He might have been like, do I want in? But I'm not sure that he really asked me.
Yeah.
But I was just like all over. I was just like, I want in.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know what that meant at the time. I think I was just excited that like we had a physical space.
Yeah.
I knew, he was my brother at that time. and I knew he needed help. He didn't say that, but like I could see that, he needed help to like take care of things. So I thought that I was just gonna come in and kind of like do business stuff, admin work, whatever. Little did I know that there wasn't, I guess, too much admin work.
More work.
Yeah, it's more work. But I never picked up a legitimate camera and like frame rate, how to take pictures, flat, like.
It was, he threw you in the deep end.
Yeah, it pretty much threw me in the deep end. But I was just, had a gung-ho willingness to be like, I'm gonna figure it out. I've been through harder things.
Yeah.
And if I want something, I'm gonna go after it and I'm gonna try and get it.
Yeah.
And so I just started coming here, was driving, an hour to get out here because I was living in Gainesville, Virginia at the time.
Yeah.
So just driving out here, taking care of bookings. And at the time, the lady, she's not there anymore, but we had a lady across the hallway who did hair and makeup. Mm-hmm. And the way they used to operate the studio was, if somebody booked it, they would just let them in here, but then nobody would actually be here to like facilitate. Mm. And that was like insane to me.
Yeah.
Because what was happening is like people that would be here would like go across the hallway and ask her for things like, do you have lotion? Just little minuscule.
Yeah.
But because they don't have anybody here to like, do you have this? Do you have that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And she was getting upset about that, and it was becoming a major conflict. Mm-hmm. And so when I came here and heard about that, I was just kind of like, customer service background.
Background.
What you mean that there's nobody here to take care of the client? You know what I mean? Like, are we insane?
That's not a client at that point. You just random
business that you don't have anybody to take care of the client. Mm-hmm. So I made it my priority to be like, well, if there's a booking, I'm gonna be here.
Yeah.
And we're not. And even still to today, we don't have bookings every single day, but I was, working full time, but I was making it a priority to like come here and take care of the bookings as best as I could. And as I kept coming, it just was like, like my love for it just kept growing.
Yeah.
And, like I said, I kind of just wanted to do the business stuff, but people would be here doing productions, whether it be photography, whether it be video. And I'm, here watching, and I didn't know that I was giving them free work or free help.
Yeah.
Because I'm just thinking, I'm taking care of my client, but I'm doing like PA, like, PA work, like, I'm moving stuff around, doing stuff for them. But kind of what ended up naturally happening is people would just naturally be, kind of gravitate towards us and me because I was so helpful. Yeah. And I was essentially giving them work that they would have had to pay for. Mm-hmm. So I think I was coming here for a year, and I probably learned in 1 year what probably would have taken me like 5. Yeah. Just because, people were coming here and I was making sure that they were getting the help they needed, and like those bonds were growing, and people would just tell me, give me the game. They would invite me to places. Like I said, that's how I met you. Yeah. And, that's how we ended up working together, and how I ended up, being able to kind of not quote unquote leave, but like, now I'm outside of this place where now we have studio managers that are here because, I'm outside doing work. Yeah. And so that was kind of like the natural progression of, I guess, how I got into the media industry. I don't want to say, it definitely wasn't by accident because I chose to leave work. I left work in October 2022. Mm-hmm. I was making like a smooth $85K at my job as a service advisor.
And you dipped.
And I decided to leave because I tried to make it work, but it was just so demanding, the things that I had to, I was taking care of clients. I have 20 clients. It's very similar to this where, I have a bunch of clients and you got to like facilitate everything. Yeah. And there was no like, at the time I didn't understand I need a mental capacity to be able to do this. Mm-hmm. Whereas, if I was like, I don't know, at a job where the mental capacity isn't as high, where it's kind of just like, I might have a sheet.
Rinse, repeat.
Yeah, process. It was more like rinse and repeat versus like I had to be creative at the dealership. Even though it wasn't this type of creativity, you had to be creative because things are not on time. Every 10 minutes, something's going wrong. You have to communicate with people. So you have to be creative in the ways that you communicate and turn a bad situation into a good one.
Yeah, and I feel like you've been the king of that, man.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Because a lot of reason why I just wanted you to share your story just like you did was because when you told me your story, I had no clue. I had no clue of your background
For sure.
as far as service, as far as the time you served, as far as your the short amount of time you were in an industry.
Yeah.
But from what I hear from your story, there's been times the doors have been like slammed in your face, the license situation.
Yeah.
And you just was like, you were like water. Hey, find me somewhere to fit in. And guess what? I'm going to make a situation happen.
Absolutely.
And I think that's, for me, that's a big part of your story that I find inspirational.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that there's ever been, from what I know of you, there's never been a time where it's just been easy.
Yeah, no. I mean, yeah, I definitely would say, I mean, just like anybody else, I don't think my life has been easy. You know, I'm a black man in America, so there's that.
Where easy at?
Yeah, yeah. But I would say my parents definitely, you know, I would say they raised a good child, gave me a good mindset.
Definitely.
But I mean, honestly, yeah, like my baseline is like, you know, I got through the time where I was locked up. I was gone for 3.5 years. That was a mentally enduring time. So that's kind of like my baseline as far as like, that was the hardest thing that I've ever been through in my life. So like, as far as I'm concerned right now, I haven't, you know, well, I will say entrepreneurship has been pretty testing. I'm not good, but I'm just, I guess, to put it in perspective, like that's the way I view things, that like, if it's not harder than that mentally, from my perspective, I'm like, you know, it's, I'll be all right.
Yeah. And then like, even you've had points where people believed in you. You know, the gentleman at the dealership. Yeah. The whole license thing could have happened. He could have just been like, "Hey, bro."
Yeah, he could have kicked me to the curb.
Man, I ain't got nothing for you, dog.
Yeah.
But instead, like, because of who you are, folks, they're reaching out to you. Yeah. Even your brother, you know, it's the same deal. Because I'm sure he ain't go to everybody with that conversation. Yeah, like, I don't think, man, you know, hey, you know, I bought these guys out, you know, of our partnership, and you know, without saying it, you know, hey, I need help. Pretty much, but it takes, I know as a man, it takes a lot to get to that point. Yeah. At least for me, it takes a lot to be like, bruh, I need help. Even if it's indirect. Yeah. Like, man, stuff ain't destroyed yet, but if I don't get this pillar built right here, like now, this house of cards about to fall. Yeah. So I think that's an important part of your story, man. Like you've had people that have been there to help you out, but it's all because of you, man. Of your willingness to keep pushing, keep going, through adversity, still being a great person, keeping a smile on.
Yeah, I mean, I never really thought about it like that, but
yeah,
I guess you're right. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. So I'm guessing that when you started at the studio, that was that pivot point of this changing from, I don't even want to call it a hobby, but like a part-time thing to a full-time thing. Yeah. You think that was maybe that perspective shift?
Yeah. You know, it became, like I said, pretty clear to me that at least I didn't feel like I could do both. Yeah. As far as like be at the dealership and do this. Now I left that dealership and I, you know, went to another one where, you know, the system was a little bit different and tried to kind of make it work. But so I left Honda Chantilly in June of 2022, went to another dealership. It was a Dodge dealership. And it was like kind of working because like at Honda, you know, it was open from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. So it was like all days and weekends. Whereas at this other place, I think we were closed by 7 o'clock. Yeah. And there was no Sundays. Okay. So, you know what I mean? At Honda, it was 7 days a week. So it was like there was no room. Yeah. It was really hard.
You was working there.
Yeah, I was working there. And like I said, like, I got clients. If I'm there, I mean, I at that point, I was working the morning shift. But, like, you know, if something went wrong, you know, I could have to communicate all the way up till 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Yeah. So it was just, like, no room. Realizing now that, you know, like, those creative decisions, like, you need a mental capacity to really be able to, like, do that. And because I was, like, literally brand new and, like, just trying to figure this out. Yeah. I had no way to like even put words to like this is too much, for me as from a mental standpoint to like try and figure out. But either way, I left, tried to make it work. But then I remember I called. I think we were married. Well, did we get married already? I'm not sure. Actually, I think it was right before we got married because it was 2022. We got married in 2023 January. So I was just like I called my girlfriend at the time, now my wife. I was just like, yeah, Shay, this ain't working. And I mean, I had already been talking to her about like wanting to leave. Like the whole reason I left Honda was because I wanted to make more space to be here and like do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was like, we could transition out, and I'm like, yeah, like we're gonna do it, but I was like, it's just not working.
Yeah, like when this industry calls you, man, like it's a calling, it's a pull when it's what you really want to do.
Yeah.
And it is hard to make space for other things. Like to this day, I think one time I may have did like DoorDash for like a day.
He said a day.
And I was doing that and I finished. I felt great. Like I was like, oh man, I made some quick cash. Ain't nothing against DoorDash, and if somebody does that to supplement what they do, I'm not dissing you or nothing. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I
realized that during that time I could have been doing something else. Like the way I see my entrepreneurial journey is there's so many things that need to be done, and it depends on what I put time in, what I outsource for someone else to put time in, and maybe I'll check it, regulate it.
Yeah.
And what is the growth? Like what's the goal? Yeah. So if I'm going to work, I gotta work within my business.
Yep.
And so I'm not dissing anybody for doing things outside their business, but like much of what you're saying, at that time you like, man, it's either I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna put my whole body into this, or I'm gonna do that.
Pretty much. And it was as simple as that. And it was like two things. At that time I was like, cause I'm 33 now, I'll be 34 this year. So I was like, either I was just about to turn 30 or I was just about to turn 30. And so didn't have kids yet. I mean, wasn't married yet. I mean, was planning on being married.
Yeah.
Because, I was ready, have the plans of asking her to marry me in the works. But I was like, I'm never going to have this time again.
Nope.
Because I'm like, I mean, if I was 21, I mean, I was young and dumb. So who knows what I would have done at 21. But I just knew that I'm like, if I end up having a kid in the next 2-3 years and I try to do it then, like, that ain't gonna work. So right now is the only time I have where I'm, kind of essentially young and free. So that was number one. But as you were saying, like, I'm gonna put all my time. If you break down this math equation, and this is literally the equation I said in my head. Well, I had wrote it out, but they say it takes like the 10,000 hour rule.
Yep.
That's how you become an expert. If you put 40 hours a week at work and 20 hours a week into your business, it's going to take you 7.5 years to reach that 10,000 hour mark.
Yeah.
If you put 60 hours a week and that's the only thing that you're doing, it's going to take you 3.5 years to reach your goal. And so I was like, well, 7 years is not bad, but like, I don't want to just kind of like be suffering for 7 years. If I'm going to suffer, I'd rather have it be like for that 3.5, and then kind of like get to where I'm going. And not that, I'm automatically going to arrive, but I'm going to get to a level of skill that now my work is worth something.
Yeah.
And not just that I'm good, but like I have a legitimate skill set. I'm essentially a tradesman.
Yes.
And so that was the equation that I did. And I'm like, well, no, I mean, I'm not actually working 60 hours a week, but I'm putting all of my time, all of my effort into this one thing all the time.
Yeah.
I'm going to get to where I'm going faster.
Yeah.
And it was just as simple as that.
I almost think you have to obsess over this when you're in that beginning phase. And even when you get to the point where it's like you're past that beginning phase. Yeah. Where you're still trying to lock in. And the 10,000 hour, that scenario, I don't want to call it a rule, but I like to call it a rule sometimes. Yeah. But the 10,000 hour rule, if you take 10,000 hours out of it. If I told you I'm going to give you $10 million, do you want it in 7 years or you want it in 3? 9 times out of 10, you're going to say, bro, 3 years. Yeah. I'd rather wait the 3 than the 7
every time.
every time.
Yeah.
And that's the exact scenario.
Yeah.
Is okay, am I going to continue to do this full-time thing and slowly get to my goals and you know, in my part-time life, my you know, my 5 to 9.
Yeah.
Or am I just going to jump in and do it?
Yeah.
And I know that like full-time is not for everybody.
Yeah.
But I will say I didn't make these strides in my company until I went full-time.
Yeah.
And I had to have a conversation with my wife after we just had my firstborn son. And that's when I had to decide, this is what we doing. And to this day, I remember my wife was very supportive. But in that absolute moment, she was like, well, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Because to her, she didn't know what was going on up here.
Yeah.
She just knew that I'm saying one thing and I'm saying, hey, I think
this is going to work.
Yeah. And, you know, she's like, all right, well, do it.
You better do it.
But I would say, and I'm going to ask you your advice to folks that are getting in the industry. I would say going full time into creative work, A, it is not for everybody. B, there's huge risk involved in it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it may work out. You may luck up and get a customer or client or contract that can hold you over. And then sometimes you're not. It takes a lot of planning.
Yeah.
And I think the last thing is have a plan. That's the only way I was able to do it. Yeah. I'm sure that's the only way you were able to do it.
Yeah.
You didn't just be like, I'm gonna go free time. I'm gonna go full time, and my goal is to sit down and have a whole lot of free time.
Yeah, nah. I mean, I would say that my plan was that I had extra money.
There we go. So that's a plan.
So that was my plan. So I mean, to echo what he's saying, you know, like I said, I was 30 years old when I decided to make the pivot. So you know, if you're older and you do have a family and stuff like that, you know, as you probably already know, like definitely don't just make rash decisions. Mm-hmm. I would say, you know, you're gonna obviously have to consult your wife, consult your loved ones, and like make a plan. Figure out like, okay, if you are gonna take this step, like how is it gonna actually work? Yeah. But I would say if you're young, like 18, 19, 21, and you don't have a family, like you're single in the world. I mean, yeah, you still want to have a plan, but you definitely have more room for like error. Like go after it and like kind of just. I mean, it's okay if you gotta sleep on the couch because I mean you're a single dude or single woman. Like it is what it is. But you do have to have the wherewithal to be like have some foresight in what your plan is. And so for me, because I was working at the dealership, even though I didn't have a kids, we weren't married yet. I did have a lot of money saved up. So for that first year, that was really able to cover me. Mm-hmm. And I knew and I understood that. And even in that first year, I had known that I wanted to move here to Alexandria because I was like, man, this is like all the work is out there. Like this drive is like it's not working.
It's insane.
And I have a townhouse, a 3-bedroom, a garage, three bathrooms. That's what we were living in. I currently live in a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment with my wife. Yeah, she was not happy about necessarily
you went from MTV
that,
Cribs to the apartment, which is still nice. I ain't dissing the apartment, but. That is a lifestyle change.
It's a lifestyle change. And I mean, I understood that though that like if I had to sacrifice, comfortability to like get where I'm trying to go. And, like I said, I did have a good amount of money saved up. My wife, she had a good job at the time. So it was going to work. It was going to cover us and we were going to make it work. Mm-hmm. But I knew that I had to make it work fast.
Yeah. And I'm going to say the last point is I did say have a plan. And I forgot the other thing outside of planning. You have to have faith.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like I prayed so much about it. I just sat in thought sometimes, just thinking it through. And I'm a big believer in writing, and journaling, especially my goals and ambitions. I'm really not a journal like, hey, today I feel like. I'm not that journal, type person. Yeah. I do it occasionally, but faith.
Yeah.
And I've other business owners, other successful business owners I spoke to, they would tell you, find God.
Yeah, because you're going to need him. I mean, you're going to need him anyway, but you definitely you're going to need him.
And for me, Jesus Christ. For somebody else, it may be Allah. It may be a different God.
Yeah.
But you gotta have faith in something.
Yeah.
Because the journey that you're about to go on as an entrepreneur and a creative entrepreneur, like we ain't talking about like you said, like a dealership where I'm selling something that somebody wants and needs right now.
Yeah.
We selling something that's invisible and that's a luxury.
Yeah. Ooh, that's deep. Yeah, it's a luxury. No, that's so real. And then one of the other things you had said was, what was you had said? Why am I going blank right now?
I said a whole lot.
Yeah, you had said a whole lot. Dang, my
I'll
fault,
be
y'all.
rapping, bro.
I mean, but just having a framework, I mean, the faith.
Yeah.
You were saying, being a full-time business owner isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
And I mean, outside of a plan, outside of like, having a dream, like I do really believe that, being a full-time business owner isn't for everybody because you do have to have a certain type of mindset to overcome and expect, if you are a person of faith, I do think you're able to overcome because with God, you could do all. With that said, even if you do and walk with the Lord, that doesn't mean that, you need to be a full-time business owner because it does take a different type of just will, a different type of grit. You got to be able to roll with the punches. You got to be able to pivot. You got to be able to, just really do a whole lot.
Yeah, and push yourself.
Yeah.
You have to. We spoke about it. You have to be your own boss.
Yeah.
And tell yourself today you're working.
Yeah.
This time is not just chill time. You take a lunch break. I know for myself, I take a lunch break. I treat like I'm at an office. Yeah. I take a 30-minute lunch break.
Yeah.
That's all I give myself. And it's not because I want to work so bad, but because I want to go home and I want to go spend time with my wife and my kids, and I don't want to think about work.
Yeah.
So if I could take 30 minutes to eat, and the other 30 minutes I go my tail back to work. But it's that part that people don't think about. And everybody can't do that. Everybody can't say, hey, I'm going to wake up and treat my entrepreneurial journey, my job that I give myself as if I'm clocking in for somebody else.
No, that's so deep because this year, it's the early 2026, but the last like 3-4 months, and I mean, maybe even before that, but kind of like what you're saying, like treating it like a job, I guess from a base sense, like, I mean, I always would come and, on a job and like kind of be presentable.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't necessarily think about it like I'm clocking in or clocking out, but I was in the corporate world. So like, I understand that, like, when I'm on the job, like there's just certain things you can't do. There's certain things you can do. So I think that was just innate. But the thought process of like working and operating, not just when I'm on the job, but just in general, like Monday through Friday, that's the time for me to work. You know what I mean? That type of framework. I didn't start thinking of like that until very recently. And I say that because, I mean, once I left work, I was waking up at, 4:00 in the morning to go to work and be at the dealership. I had to be there for 6. And I got there early because I didn't want clients to be right in my face as soon as I got there. I wanted to be able to like, roll into my day and like, get things going before I talk to people. And so I operated very disciplined and very systematically. So as soon as I left work, you know what I mean? I'm like, hey, like, I don't gotta be up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't gotta be up early. Okay, I'm an editor now. I'm a videographer now. So like late nights and like, I work whatever. And that was, the mindset and that was the attitude. And, I kind of, I guess you could say suffered or pushed through that. But after, 2.5, 3 years of kind of operating that way and just learning and growing, I realized that, by the time I wake up at 8, 9, 10 o'clock, now that I'm actually in it, at the studio, that was one thing. If there's a booking, I already know what it is. I can kind of pull up. But now, when Torrance is like, hey, we got this gig, I got to edit, I got to do, I got to do that, I got to do this, I got my own stuff going on, I got wifey, I'm like, okay, now I got to like balance all these things and I can't just do whatever I want.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to like I was working, because
Mm-hmm.
I am working, like you said.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, because for me, I'm a morning person. So not saying that you have to do this.
Yeah.
So no judgment, because I've been saying that people are like, hey man, like you making me feel. I'm like, look, this is just what works.
It's me.
This is what works for
Yeah.
me. I as a kid, I swam. I would get up at 3:45 in the morning, go to
Whew.
school, or excuse me, go to practice, then go to school. So that, very quickly made me a morning person. That's
Yeah.
what I did throughout high school. And then once again, like I said, I had to essentially do that when I was at work.
Mm-hmm.
So it became like natural to me. I stepped away from that for some time, because I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
cool, I'm out of it. But now I'm back in that space where I get up early, able to get like my first round in for the day. By the
Yeah.
time people start hitting me up, I'm ready. Yeah, I've already done work, or kind of gotten what I need to do done, and then I could talk to other people, reach out to clients, emails, whatever. And so by the time it's at night, I'm tired, but I'm actually ready to lay down. And even if I'm like, oh, I still got more stuff to do, I did the best that I could do for
Yes.
for the day.
You gotta close that book.
I gotta close the book.
It's like,
Yeah.
at some point I gotta stop working, and that's why, I mentioned that, because everybody can't, like I said, everybody can't do that.
Yeah.
But that it's a tool. It's it's a tool. It's a mindset as well, but it's helpful, because when you treat it like that, then you start to understand when am I not working. And when I started treating my days more like a 9 to 5, although some of our days are insane.
Yeah.
Like today, I've been working all day today. Tomorrow, I'm gonna work all day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because I'm on location. But the days when I'm not, and I treat it like it's a 9 to 5, I gain a little bit of balance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's the scales.
it's just a little bit of balance.
Yeah.
That those are the days where I'm at home. I may cook. I hang out with the kids. Hang out with my wife, and I'm not like we trying to watch a TV show and I'm like, I'm editing.
Yeah.
I missed it. But to kind of get to a wrap point, you may have already gave a piece of advice to someone that's gonna enter this industry.
Yeah.
But what's a piece of advice that you would give to someone that's interested in getting in this industry, or a piece of advice for someone to continue pushing forward towards their dreams?
It's a good question. I would say, well, one, as far as your dreams, never give up.
Yeah.
If you feel like you have a dream or something that's been put in your heart, or a purpose that's been put into your life, never give up. Just continue to pursue it. No matter how long it takes, no matter how hard it is, like, just keep going. Ask God and keep going. But as far as anybody who wants to get into this industry, I would say there's no better time, honestly, than now. Because, I think a lot of the tools that we have, AI, all the things, it has made prosumer gear and content that much easier to get into. And I think I've honestly been blessed to kind of come in at this point, because I'm like, man, like I wish I would have started messing around with this stuff when I was 18, 19 years old, like started editing, because I would have been, a little bit more adept, and like it'd be more like second nature. But I also realized, like, I have a lot of, I'm 33, so I'm not old, but like I'm not 18, 19, 20, where, these kids, like, they grew up with TikTok, they grew up with these things. And like, I feel like editing and content creation is kind of like secondhand. Whereas, when we were like 13, 11, 10, being a content creator wasn't a thing. It wasn't a reality, at least not yet. And so I kind of am growing up in a way, in a space where, like, I didn't come into the industry 10 years ago where a lot of certain technology wasn't out yet. And there was, there's kind of like, this is the way things are done.
Yeah.
And now there's like a whole new category of technology where it's like, well, that's the way things are done, but like there's a whole bunch of things that you could do to like get it done, maybe not perfectly, but almost just as good. And we're not talking about feature films here. We're talking about, essentially something that's going to end up on Instagram.
Yeah.
So it's going to get the job done. So I guess what I'm saying is, like, I've been able to kind of grow up in that balance of, like, I understand the old structure, but I'm growing up in like a new school.
Yeah.
So that's why I say there's no better time than now, that like the barrier to entry is so low that, yeah, anybody can do it, but it does take a certain mindset, a certain, grit to really push through, especially because it is the best time, but that means there are more people doing it.
Yeah.
So I guess take that with the good and bad, because it's like, well, it's a good time to get in, but everybody's doing it, so that just means there's more competition. But I would say that all the tools are available to us at a pretty low threshold to be able to get in, and I honestly feel blessed to kind of have like that new mindset, I would say, of like, I don't need that to get this done.
No.
And honestly, I've had a lot of my peers like kind of tell me that, because they're like, I mean, like, this is the right way to do it. I'm like, well, yeah, of course that's the right way, but like, what's the faster way that and we could still get the quality and efficiency? There has to be a balance. Yeah,
it is fast. I mean, we worked with television networks, broadcast networks. Yeah. Even they are now getting to the point where it is fast. Like, we have I like to call it the hierarchy of content. This whole one of these episodes, I'm gonna break down the whole reason why this podcast is called the Production Prism. Yeah. But think about a beam of light going through a prism and what comes out. And that beam of light, usually that light's never going to change. That's going to be your it's going to be your creative intent, right? Yeah. What you want to do. Yeah. The prism is just what's going to multiply it. And the prism can be like your equipment. It can be what the project is. Yeah. But what comes out is that finished result. And the thing is, I feel like a lot of what's happening now, like I said, even in broadcast, the higher up things, they have these big projects that requires all this fancy stuff. Yeah. And then you have everything else. In the middle part right now, it used to be like, oh, well, I still want that kind of like social media content to be high end. No. They want a plethora of it. Yeah. And then you have that small little bit of content that is still like, oh, okay, we want some little bit of high end social media content. But a majority of it is quick and dirty stuff. You have the upper echelon stuff that's going to broadcast for air, whatever. That's just what it is. You look at your favorite influencer. You look at YouTube. You look at Netflix. Everybody's doing it. They got that heavy lift. I need a production crew and this, that, and the other. Then you have the stuff that's just like quick and dirty. Oh, can AI edit this? Oh, bet. Yeah. And we're going to put it on social media. And guess what? We're going to get a whole bunch of likes and people are going to be waiting for the next thing. Yep. Nobody's going to talk about, oh, man, this wasn't shot on this or this didn't look like. No. Yeah.
You got to be faster. You got to adapt with the times.
You have to. And like what you're saying is awesome, because I kind of consider myself a part of the old guard, because I learned a lot from those guys when I was younger. Yeah. And I learned a lot of don't do that. It's not how that goes. And now, like, even like working with folks like you and other people, I'm starting to go over to like, well, maybe let me see what this looks like.
Hey, if it works though, it produces the output that we need. Whereas, I mean, like, kind of like what you're saying, like, so a lot of the output that we're going, it isn't going to a broadcast. No. We're not talking about a feature film here. No. We are talking about like this clip, this recap that we're, getting money for, that we have all this equipment for. It's going on Instagram. Yep. And I mean, even if it's not going on Instagram, it's going to your website. It's still like the end destination is not, I mean, there's a lot of effort for that. And it's like, well, if we can make that workflow more efficient from our perspective,
why not?
Why not?
Because the viewer expectation on that platform, social media, website, the expectation is lower now.
And I mean, and it's going to, that, like on my phone, like I'm dropping, I don't know if you've seen any of we did like the, for Metro Ties. Which is my directorial debut, by the way.
I need y'all to check out Metro Ties. It's like that. Yes, but go ahead.
So we have a focus group coming up on February 13th. Who knows if this will be aired before or after, but I'm sure it'll be after. But either way, we did these skits where people are like talking to a therapist. So I cut the reels. I shot it vertically, which I'm still like kind of baffles my mind because, you know, I want to be a student. So I'm like, okay, you know, framing horizontally.
Yeah.
And now it's flipping it vertically, just kind of like, even though it's the same, it's just different.
Yeah.
But I shot it vertically so, you know, we could get the most quality. When I downloaded it to my phone, I'm like, man, this looks great. Like, man, this joint clean.
Yeah.
This joint sharp.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you download it to Instagram, I mean, it's still clean and sharp, but
Dumped on.
it's not the
Yeah.
video that I have in my folder that I'm looking at on my phone. It's not, if it's 1-to-1, it's not comparable. So that doesn't mean, of course, that, you know, we try and produce trash, but because we're the subject matter experts, we now could say, well, yeah, why, yeah, we don't need to go get the Sony Venice to add all the things on it just to shoot that. We could just go get the Nikon ZR.
Yeah. And
run around, you know, the client still looks the same. They don't care about the matte box no more.
No.
At least not in this situation.
Yeah, in that
they don't care about the matte box no more. They don't care about. Yeah. They just want to make sure does it look good overall, and is it what I need?
Yep.
And how fast can you get it to me?
Mm-hmm.
So,
because that last part's the most important part to them. How fast can you get it to me? Because if it can look great, it can be perfect, but if it took you 2 weeks to get it, they're like, wait, what?
Yeah, they don't care about all that stuff. Yeah, so you got to move with the times, and as long as you're able to do that, and I mean, like I said, the barrier to threshold is lower.
It's
and
lower,
so
man.
Us having that knowledge and understanding it, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
You know, I understand anybody who's, you know, holding on.
Yeah, there's a lane for that. There's a lane for absolute perfection. There's a lane for and we do that. We film a docuseries, but man, we shooting for the moon.
Yeah.
And it's like it is that. But there are also things that we film where it's like it doesn't have to be that. It just needs to be clean. It needs to be presentable, but it doesn't need to be the stratosphere like we got a 10-man crew. Yeah.
I mean, I think we're in a good place to kind of be like, you know, sometimes, I don't know if you ever did like martial arts, but, you know, they would tell you like, okay, go 20%, go 30%, go 60%. So because like, we're the subject matter experts, essentially, I think we need to do a good job in like understanding what that, and not to say you give 60% to a job, but more like, you know, I only probably need like 40% of my gear, or, you know, I need something that is able to, just be more efficient and fast. Where, I mean, because for me coming in, I definitely wanted to like be a student and I want to do it right. Yeah. And I mean, I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think people should not want to do it right. So that's also not what we're saying. I think
we're not saying being mediocre. We're not preaching mediocrity.
Yeah, but I think it's more like the way I view it is like Steph Curry could decide what shot he wants to take whenever he wants to take it, but only because he's done the work. Yeah. And I mean, if you're not a sports fan, then maybe that went over your head. But if you are, then I think you get it. Like, you don't just get to do whatever you want without having put the work in. But once you have to understand, like, I want to know the rule so that I know why I'm breaking it if I choose to break it. Yeah. Not just like, oh, well, I don't care about the rules. No, I do. But if I'm choosing to break it or choosing to deviate from it, I understand why I'm deviating from it. And there's a reason for it. And I know how to go back to it and when to, move away from it if need be. Yeah. Just make my life easier. And ultimately, if it's getting the client what they want, that's what pays my bills. So that's all I'm here for.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, look, Jules, this was great.
Sure.
We got to talk a little bit about, your story. For sure. We got to talk about the industry. I appreciate you, man, doing this. Yeah.
Thank you for having me on here. Y'all, check the pod out. Yeah. I mean, this is a good brother here, so I hope it does numbers. Not because I'm on this particular episode.
This episode.
But just in general. I mean, you'll be hearing a lot more from us. So, appreciate it, bro.